Hey guys,
What's good, peeps?
we're back with another alkaline cooking video, and today we're gonna make black tahini brownies.
Oh, yes.
It's happening. Alright, so what you're gonna need is a cup and a half of spelt flour. I have not tried this with any other spelt flours or any other flours, but I'm pretty sure it would work with most of them, especially if you're gluten-free. Go ahead and try using garbanzo bean flour. It should work just fine. Alright, so like I said, we're going to need a cup and a half of spelt flour. I said that already, right, babe? And then you're going to need a cup of ground or powdered black sesame seeds. But you want the toasted, so you can either toast them yourself, in that bag over there, or you can buy the toasted version. Now, and I need the container. I'm going to show you some examples here. Oh, this is some we powdered ourselves right in the food processor. Let's make sure we're in frame. Yes, we are. Alright. Okay, and all we did was use this roasted black sesame container of seeds here, or roasted black sesame seeds container. And I will leave links in the description box below where you can find some roasted black sesame seeds if you can't find them in your local store. And then at our local Asian market we found sesame powder. This is black sesame powder. It does not say black, but you can see it right through the package to make sure. So you can buy it already powdered, or you can grind it up yourself. Either way, okay? This is about $1.99, and these are about $3.99. So, you know, whichever. One will yield a little bit more than the other. But like I said, I will put links in the description box below where you can find them. They're not hard to find. If you can't find them in store, they are easy to find online, and they're not very expensive. Alright, so we're going to use some of the stuff that we already ground up. I have it here. I've already poured a cup in here, and we're going to add this to the flour. Next, we're going to need a cup of date sugar. 1 full cup.
It's powdery.
Now we're going to add a teaspoon of sea salt. Next, we're going to add 1/3 cup of avocado oil. If you do not have avocado oil, you can use grapeseed oil. It's not quite 1/3. Let's add a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to add 2/3 cup of agave. We're just going to use the same container that we put the oil in. We're going to also taste the dough for sweetness before we bake it, just to make sure it won't need a little bit extra agave. Sometimes you end up putting in a little extra too much flour. You just want to make sure. Okay, next you're going to need 1 cup of Perrier Water. Now we're going to start stirring it all together. You should end up with a nice thick batter.
Like brownie batter?
Yeah, and it might not be very pourable. It'll just be really nice and thick. It should look nice and dark. It'll darken up even more when you bake it. It'll look black just like brownies. Now it's time to taste the batter. Yep, tastes right to me. Tastes pretty perfect. Alright, so now we're going to take half of this batter and separate it, because we're going to put walnuts in half of it and no walnuts on the other half, so we can show you some different things and toppings you can do with it. Okay, so we got our little pan here. This is a 8" by 8" pan. We're going to take half of this batter and we're going to put it in here and just lay it in there on that side. The other half of the batter, we're going to put some walnuts in. What you're going to need is however many walnuts you like. I'm going to use about half a cup.
There you go.
Okay. Alright, so take some of them and set them aside so you can garnish the top, make it look all pretty. And then the rest, you can just put right in your bowl. Want to bring the bowl over here, babe? Move it over here, Mom. And then just mix them in. Oh, there's a few more.
And don't want to leave nobody out.
Nope. And add what you like. You want to add nuts, berries, raisins. You don't want to add anything at all. You don't have to. Smells just like brownies, doesn't it?
Yeah, with the walnuts in it. Yeah, boy.
But the black tahinis have a much richer, darker flavor, and will, you know, have you thinking more like, ooh, this is chocolate brownies.
Yep.
You'll really enjoy this if brownies is something that you once really loved.
Those are all mixed in. There we go.
All right, so now we're gonna
Oh, got a little bit
add the rest of this on the other side. Alright, once you get them in there, just pat them down. Now, which side did I put the walnut? Oh, okay, the walnuts are on this side. So try to make it as even as possible. Now, the side that you put the walnuts, go ahead and garnish the top with your leftover walnuts. Press them down just a little. You don't want them falling off when you go to eat your brownie. There you go. That's simple. I probably could have added a little bit more, but we're just gonna leave it. Now you're gonna bake these in the oven at 350. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you how to make an optional topping for the brownies. I call this like a caramel topping. And I start off with some hemp milk. So we got 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds. I'm going to add 6 ounces of water. Then we're going to blend this up really well. Okay, now that you've made your hemp milk, see how quick it was? Are we recording, babe? Alright. So you got your hemp milk. Set that aside. Now you're going to need some dates. You're going to use half a cup of dates. You want to pack them down in the cup. You don't just want to roughly put them in there. So you want to make sure it's a nice packed half a cup of dates. So dust in there. I lost one.
Man down.
We're going to leave it in there. I don't want to chop my fingers off. See how I packed that down? Alright, that should be about good. Put that right in your processor. This, we're going to add a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Then we're going to start processing them with a little bit of the hemp milk. It's about 5 tablespoons of hemp milk. To help them out a little bit. Oh, and how could I forget? I'm going to add a tablespoon of agave. Now we're going to add some coconut oil. This will help it solidify when it's all done. So when you put them in the fridge, if that's where you decide to store them at, which is a good idea because it'll help the icing firm right up that we're going to make. So this is the 2nd tablespoon. This is the 3rd tablespoon.
So 3 tablespoons.
Yep, 3 tablespoons coconut oil. Can you tell it's hot here in Florida? Look at that, it's melted. Alright, so now we're going to blend this up. Now we're going to open it up, check on it, scrape the sides. You want to get it blended up real smooth. Try to get as many of the bits broken up as you can. You're not going to be able to get all of it, but just get it real nice and smooth. Alright, now right now it's going to be real sweet, but trust the process. Now let's move on to the next step. Okay guys, now we're going to move on to the next step. Get yourself a pan going on the stove, medium-high heat. You want to pour your hemp milk in there. Okay? And let that cook a little bit. I'll show you what we're doing, and you can pay attention to the process as we're going along here. You'll get the gist of it. Let's see what it's doing. Here, stop for a minute. Just let it do its thing for a second. Let it heat up till you start to see bubbles everywhere. Alright guys, see what it's doing now? It's kind of bubbling and separating. Let it do that a little bit longer and whisk it. Now it's separating, and that's what we want it to do. So just let it do its thing. See that? Let me show you again, guys. It should see, you can see the separation. That's good. Alright, so now that that's happened, you're going to turn it off and let it cool down a little bit. Alright guys, now we're going to take that hemp milk that we just warmed up, and we're going to, you want to make sure you let it cool down, because you don't want to heat the coconut oil. This is nice and warm, almost hot. Make sure there's barely any steam coming off it, basically. Now you're going to add it back to the dates. Make sure you get all the bits in there. Those are very important for this. Now we're going to blend it again. And we're going to scrape the sides a little bit, because some of it should be stuck to the sides from sitting in here and waiting. And it should look like this when you're done. Kind of runny, like that. But we're going to put it in the fridge, and it'll solidify perfectly, and that's when you're going to spread it on your brownies when they're done. Alright, good enough. Now this is going to be very sweet, but you can adjust the sweetness to your liking just by adding less dates. Okay, now you're just going to put your caramel topping in the refrigerator and wait for it to be added to your brownies. Well, wait to add it to your brownies. Once your brownies cool down, then you can take it out and add it. Alright guys, the brownies are out of the oven. You can easily check your brownies to make sure that they are fully cooked through, just by inserting something like that, and it'll come out clean. Anyway, they've been in the oven for 30 minutes. So if I haven't told you that, which I didn't, that's how long it's going to take in an 8x8 pan. If you use a pan that's a 9x9, it's only going to be 25 minutes. Alright? So now you're going to let your brownies completely cool before cutting them and eating them, or before adding your topping. Alright guys, we're going to start cutting ours early because this is YouTube and we're not going to wait because we want to show you. So I've already started cutting mine. Alright guys, we've already taken some out because we're working on our picture here, but this is our sauce. It hasn't solidified yet, but when it does solidify, it'll just get a little bit tougher. Not too much, you know, thicker, but you can put your sauce on however you want. You can drizzle it, you can put it in a pastry bag, you can just dump it on, whatever you want to do. It's really up to you. See, just like that. There, it's just so good. So, so good. Here you go, babe.
Mmm. Oh. Tastes caramel now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a brownie now. Mmm. Mm.
How is it?
Good, good.
Trust me, don't try them when they're warm. There's way more flavor
Yeah.
once they cool.
Yeah, I'm burning the roof of my mouth, but it feels good. Mm.
But once they cool, you would not believe the amount of flavor that comes out of these. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Sorry we did not show you like it all done with the sauce, but I wanted to give you a sauce to put on it. This is so good. And they come out beautiful. Look how nice and dark they are in the middle.
Thick and chocolatey looking.
Oh yes. Look at that. Then you got the ones with the walnuts. Let me show you how beautiful and chunky those come out looking. Very nice. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. There we have it. Black tahini brownies. You can add your own toppings, your own fillings, whatever. Just take this recipe and go to town.
Yep. Make sure to like,
subscribe,
and comment. Smash that like button, people. And we just knocked it out the park with this one.
Alright guys, see you in the next video.
Peace.